Do you guys consider yourselves Latinas?
No.
I do consider myself a Latino. I think of Latino as anyone from Latin America. So pretty much any country in like from Mexico on down all the way through South America. Even if they don't speak Spanish, obviously like the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico.
I don't really consider myself a Latina because my mom, she grew up very Americanized. She just always raised us very American, and also I went to like American schools and everything, so I only put it down for like paperwork or something.
Someone from South America. Or Central America too. La palabra latino viene de latín, ¿no? Entonces, españoles, I mean, they're Latin, right?
Yo creo que vino de toda la gente que habla un idioma que viene del latín. But then, I don't know how, it just became
South America.
South America and Central America.
Latino is not just the language you speak or where you live. It's also the culture that came about because of historical factors. A large percentage of people there are just a mixture of a lot of different races.
I guess a Latino person would be someone that comes from South America or like Hispanic origin, and they have that culture in them, and then also I guess speaking Spanish.
Yo creo que la gente no sabe dónde está España. Mucha gente me dice que, España, eso está por Chile y eso, ¿no? Hay una división tan grande entre España, que habla español, y los otros países que hablan español.
Sí.
No lo saben.
Los latinoamericanos tienen otra cultura casi completamente diferente.
I think most Americans, like Caucasian Americans, consider me Latino, maybe because a lot of them just think of people who are south of the US as Latino. And in some ways that's correct, I guess. A lot of people who speak Spanish in the US don't think of me as Latino. I can understand that because they're used to thinking of Latinos as people who speak Spanish in the US.
People generally think that I'm Latina just from the way that I look. I guess I look Latina. But if you don't really act Latina, then people aren't really going to say like, oh, she's a Latina. They might think that you're from somewhere else. So, yeah.
It's difficult to say who we look like the most. For example, Bahia, you have a lot of people of African descent. In São Paulo, where I'm from, their ancestors were mostly Italians or Portuguese settlers. And if you go further north, if you go to Manaus, you'll see a lot of people that have very like indigenous traits. Depending where you are in Brazil, people might look more like Argentinians, or they might look more like people from areas of Latin America that have more indigenous influences.
So, what do you think are some similarities que tienen con los latinos?
Pues el idioma, religión, en teoría,
Sí, también.
I think South Americans tend to be a lot more devout or involved. At least they show it more. They're more expressive.
La religión cristiana católica, ¿sí?
Sí. Entonces los españoles, it's more of a tradition. Se llaman católicos, but it looks different than the Catholic religion in South America.
My family in Brazil, my cousins, they all live like within a 5-minute drive from their parents. You stick around with your family, and that's your primary like social group. I think pretty much all Latin American cultures are very family oriented.
Something that I'm similar is that I'm always late.
That's sad but true.
I guess I get this from my mom. I really love food and like cooking. That's one of those things that I consider to be more Latino. And then of course like family is really important to me.
Comida. Es
Comida,
gran parte.
la apariencia, yo creo.
Oh, sí.
Alguien latino suele ser más oscuro, o porque se ve la descendencia indígena.
Ajá,
Los
claro.
no tienen nada de eso. Yeah.
Música, más o menos.
You hit a radio station, it's
Yeah.
like Latin music. They mix in Spanish music too, and I wouldn't consider, even if it's not like flamenco, like traditional, like normal Spanish artists.
The rhythms and stuff like that, it's
Yeah.
different. And the instruments they use too.
Our culture does have to do a lot with the fact that we speak Portuguese. Our sense of humor is often related to words. You can't often translate that when you're talking to someone who doesn't speak Portuguese.
One thing that I got from like being raised in a more American way is that you spend more time like away from your family. I'm living here in Grand Rapids. My sister's in Detroit. My parents are in St. Louis right now. We talk, of course, but that distance was one way that I wouldn't consider myself as Latino. And also, I don't speak Spanish fluently, so
That's a big one, maybe.
yeah.
Yo soy Sara Westergren.
Y yo, Katie Westergren, y somos españolas.
My name is Lucas da Silva, and I am a Latino brasileiro.
Mi nombre es Jessie y yo soy parte latina.
Hispanos son todos los hispanohablantes que
Sí.
hablan español.
Sí,
Pero a ti te suena igual como latino.
a mí sí.
A mí no.
Sí. Yo diría que hablamos castellano,
Sí, pero es español.
pero no somos madrileñas, ¿sabes? Yo no.
Entonces, y somos españolas, if you both are comfortable with it.
Y somos españolas.
Lo tenía que decir yo.
No,
Lo decimos a decir bien.
Y somos españolas.
Okay, thank you.